What is up, YouTube? It's your boy John.
And Chris.
Here from Shenanigaming. And today, we're going to talk to you about the Pokemon Direct going off of Pokemon's 25th anniversary.
I think you mean Pokemon Presents.
Okay, Chris. I will fight you.
Fight me. Fight me,
I
brother.
will fight you. So anyway, we just kind of want to talk about it, give you our thoughts and opinions on what we saw this morning. Yes.
So basically...
Go ahead, Chris.
So basically what we're going to do is we're just going to cover it, and then after we give you just the news and other things, we're going to go ahead and give our opinion of it. So we should give you that idea that you can cut to the end to see our opinion of it, or you can just get the news portion, or you can see both.
There you go. So the first thing that they went off and announced for us today was... Chris, that's your cue.
Oh, that's my cue.
That's your cue. Trying to keep it interactive, bud.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. The first thing they covered was, in fact, the 25th anniversary. They went over all the years of Pokemon, showing off products of trading cards, video game consoles, toys, merchandise, anything that was Pokemon related that they've done as accomplishments through their 25th year anniversary. And after they were finished with that, they led into a new trailer for Pokemon Snap.
Which looks amazing, by the way.
It looks super good.
They gave us a little bit new footage and kind of showed what some of the new mechanics that they're throwing in there. Like, you can now illuminate any Pokemon, which is kind of interesting with these illumination balls.
Yeah, illumination ball or globe or orb, something
like
that.
Yeah, it's something kind of interesting like that. That said, this definitely sold it to me. I'm going to pick this game up day one as of today. So
that's good, as you should.
This new recording.
Pokemon Snap has always been like a solid game for me as a kid.
I can see it. I mean, it actually looks really good now. So I went back and eventually played Pokemon Snap, and it's pretty sweet. I think this one's going to be much better, though. I'm very excited about it. So
it does look cool. And then promptly after the trailer for Pokemon Snap, they teased us with a 3DS opening up to what was Sinnoh. So John, you want to tell them what happened there?
Yeah, so long story short, they went ahead and gave us Sinnoh Remakes, which is very exciting. It's got a new art style, so if that's what you're into, that's exciting too, I guess.
But the nice thing though they did do is that there was it's a nice full-on faithful remake of the Sinnoh games. There's not going to be, from what it appears like, any extended play to it. It's just going to be a straight copy-paste with new art style that's upgraded for the Switch.
Which, if that's what you're into, it's great. So, that is one thing they gave us today. And then following that announcement, they gave us this new Arceus game, which is interesting. It looks like an open-world game that they're now starting to tackle.
Yeah, it looks like a Breath of the Wild Pokemon Sinnoh pre-make.
Yeah, I can see that. The Pokeballs looked really cool. They were like these wooden Pokeballs with like latches on them. They looked really sweet.
It kind of gives me like the apricorn balls.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm hoping that they bring back that mechanic where you're able to craft your own apricorn balls.
I can see it, especially since it's like a pre-make before. So in the game, you're creating the first Pokedex ever or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So that one comes out in 2022 early. So I'm guessing like Q1, Q2, which I'm excited for. I guess we'll find out when that actually happens, but that's what they announced.
Beyond that, there wasn't anything else in the Pokemon Presents that was new to us. So that was interesting to say the least. I guess they did make some smaller announcements as far as mobile games are concerned. There was the Pokemon Masters Leon. And they did some, I think it was Golden Acorns or whatever for that Pokemon Cafe Mix game.
I missed that part.
There are a few smaller things in there.
They also gave us the Gigantamax Pikachu event that's going on in Sword and Shield right now. So
they did, and there's a chance for a shiny.
Yeah, there's a 1% chance that they will be shiny on the 5-star rats. Oh, that's gonna be rough.
Shiny hunting.
It'll be fun. So, all right. Well, now that we kind of covered the news, let's talk about your opinions on things, Chris. Why don't we start with? I mean, I think we kind of went over Snap last time. So, do you want to just jump right into Diamond and Pearl?
Yeah, I would say that I'm excited for Snap for sure. That's definitely going to be one of the. It's honestly probably the highlight for me from this Pokemon Presents. Unfortunately,
I would agree.
I'm a huge Sinnoh baby. Like, Sinnoh was my favorite region. It has some of my favorite Pokemon. And I'm excited for the remakes for the sake that we're going to be able to go back to the Sinnoh region. But I'm not crazy about the chibi art style. I really don't like that art style. I wish they would have given it updated graphics similar to what they did in Horas.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I struggle with the chibi art style because it feels like a regression, whereas every other Pokemon remake that we've done to date is like a updated version. So it's like, hey, so when we did when we did Leaf Green, Fire Red and Leaf Green, it kind of had the mechanics and like the feel to Ruby and Sapphire, and then Heart Gold Soul Silver was kind of the same thing with the Diamond and Pearl games. Like, it just all felt upgraded and like they added quality of life to it. So it's not just a remake, but also added quite a bit of improvement to it. Whereas this game feels like it's more of a copy paste with like a different art style. I'm not even gonna say that the chibi's upgraded, because I would honestly take like the original aesthetic to the chibi aesthetic.
They do like some kind of like port of graphics.
Yeah, the Pokemon themselves look really good, so I'm excited about that. But the overworld chibi-ness annoys the heck out of me. Like, watching them walk just does not look right. So
yeah, it definitely wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but I don't know if it's going to make or break the game. I think that overall the game's going to sell very well. But I think that people had high expectations as to what we were going to be getting, and for it to be a straight remake, a faithful remake with, I guess, different graphics, not necessarily upgraded graphics, I think that that's going to be the disappointing factor there.
Yeah, I would agree. And the other thing that bothers me is there's not any new features from what I could tell. So like, they're not throwing Gigantamaxing or even Megas in there. It looks like you're just going to have Pokemon from generations 1 through 4. I didn't see anything leading to the idea that it's going to be past that. There's no wild area. I mean, it feels like everything good that they did in Galar, they just kind of threw out the door for this game. And I honestly think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they pushed this game off to Ilka, which is the guys who made Pokemon Home. And I mean, I guess that's cool, but as their 25th anniversary and like Diamond and Pearl remakes, which have been, anticipated for years and years and years, because this is the 15th anniversary of that now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed that Pokemon themselves are not taking care of this one, and instead they're just working in the open world game, which the Arceus one could be cool, but Diamond and Pearl remakes feel very bittersweet at this point, and I'm not stoked about it as much as I was just yesterday. So,
see, now when you talk about the mechanics that they could have brought over, I'm glad they didn't bring back over Gigantamaxing and Dynamaxing. That wouldn't, to me, that personally wouldn't feel right for the Sinnoh region. It feels right in Sword and Shield because it's a new mechanic, it's a new universe, it's a new land for us to explore, and they have the open ceiling soccer fields where it feels like it's a big event. Everything's just largely emphasized, and I feel like Gigantamaxing in that sense fits with Sword and Shield. I don't know how it would have done in the Diamond and Pearl Sinnoh region. I think that it would have actually been out of place there. Now, the wild area, that could have been cool. The wild area itself could have been like the marsh, or on routes you could have overworld spawns like they did in Let's Go,
Right.
like they did in Sword and Shield. I feel like that wouldn't have been out of place, but I definitely feel that Gigantamaxing would have. So, I mean, I'm glad that they are doing a faithful remake, to a sense, but I'm disappointed they didn't take the opportunity to enhance it.
I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, personally, I kind of expected they would do Gigantamax. I'm not saying it was, like, the best plan, but I was expecting that they would, because when they did Oras, they added Megas and stuff to those games, whereas the original game didn't have Megas, you know? I kind of expected that they would just fit in with whatever the current generation of game would be, and just kind of continue that trend a little bit. But
Oras definitely felt like it was treated with better service than Sinnoh was. It was, I almost feels like Pokemon favored Sinnoh.
You mean favorite?
Or favorite Hoenn.
Hoenn?
Yeah, favorite Hoenn. And I'm just confused by it.
Yeah, no, that's understandable. So,
but enough of that game, the Sinnoh remake. Let's talk about the Sinnoh pre-make, the Arceus Legends game.
Yeah, so that seems kind of interesting because they have a setup to make it a really cool game. Because in theory, as a trainer, if all of a sudden, I mean, I guess this all begs the question: where does Arceus come into play? Like, did Arceus create the entire Pokemon world with like humans and everything, or was it just like there were humans and then Arceus came and made Pokemon one day? Like, how does that work? And because I mean, I guess to me, if there's just like all of a sudden a bunch of new Pokemon in the wild, all of a sudden that never existed before today, you'd want to go out and find all the different Pokemon right away, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's going to be interesting seeing how Arceus actually plays into the lore of the game. It's kind of an interesting concept, to be honest. Like, hey, you're creating the first Pokedex ever. Like, I would imagine it's going to be similar to, like, I don't know, here's my notebook that has all of my findings on these Pokemon, and I named this one Piplup, you know?
Yeah, the other thing, though, that is interesting is that it doesn't necessarily feel like it's a world origin story. It feels like it's a early world origin story, because they were talking about how the starters were Rowlet, Cyndaquil, and Piplup.
Which is weird, by the way.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Out of all three of those, Piplup and Rowlet have the advantage because Typhlosion's pure fire type, while Rowlet's Ghost Grass and or sorry, not Rowlet, but Decidueye is Ghost Grass, and then Empoleon is Water Steel. So like you can get better Pokemon if you go Water and Grass. So I found that interesting, and now the fire type Pokemon has a super effectiveness against two different Pokemon, the Water Steel and the Grass Pokemon. So it's like, it's just an interesting dynamic that they would give you such diverse starters from different regions. But to speak onto that, like, the professor went and got these Pokemon, and he clearly knows what they are. Maybe he named those Pokemon Rowlet, Cyndaquil, and Piplup, but it just seems really strange how they're kind of piecing this together.
I would agree with that. But the thing that you bring up that is kind of interesting is the whole Rowlet thing, because he didn't come around until Alola, right?
Right.
So, in theory, we might actually get Pokemon past 1 through 4 in both games, because, I mean, they're both based on Sinnoh, so,
right.
I mean, that is one step in the right direction, I would hope, because after Dexit, I was not a huge fan to see how it all played out, so I'm just kind of hoping that they actually let us complete our national decks now. In both games, I think that'd be great. So
what I anticipate with that is that Sinnoh, since it's a faithful remake of Sinnoh, you're going to get gens 1 through 4 in the
main game.
Brilliant Pearl or Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and then you're going to get gens 1 through 8 in this Sinnoh pre-make, the Legend Arceus Legends. And so I think what they're going to try to do, and I hope this is what it's going to be, is they're going to give you all the Pokemon that weren't in Sword and Shield or that can be attained in Sword and Shield. I think for sure we're going to be getting, obviously, all of the Sinnoh decks back. That's clearly going to happen just because we're getting Diamond and Pearl remakes. But there are Pokemon from each of the generations that got cut in Sword and Shield, so I'm hoping that they do bring those back into the Legends game.
See, I see what you're saying, but it wouldn't make sense to do that to me necessarily because it's a prequel. So why would these Pokemon be in the prequel and just not in the main game, you know?
Yeah. It definitely is going to be...
That's kind of why I'm thinking like they'll add it. But
it's definitely going to be interesting.
It very well could just be post-game stuff. So it's like, hey, here's the things that you can now go do.
The other thing it could be doing is the professor himself was able to travel to different regions to grab those Pokemon. Maybe there's a mechanic in that game that's going to allow us to go to all the different regions and catch different Pokemon.
I don't know, man. You're asking for a tall order for a game that looks like it's just barely out of alpha. So
I mean, you're not wrong. The graphics weren't leaving a lot to desired with the Pokemon in the overworld. It was like they were running a GIF that was standing in place.
I mean, it wasn't even like the graphics. It just felt like lonely. I don't know. When you were looking at Pokemon on screen, there was like 2 Pokemon, and you're like, well, one's mine. That is clearly my Pokemon. And this is the one wild Pokemon in the entire frame. Like, that just seems... I don't know.
The Pokemon battles look pretty sweet, though.
They do look good. So, I'm hoping that game will do really well. I want to see it come along quite a bit, because right now it just seemed very lackluster. So, I don't know. They have a whole year to actually work on it and all that fun stuff, but...
The nice thing, though, is Game Freak is working on that. So that's like, I feel like that's their 25th anniversary game. It's just not coming out this year. And that's why the other company, Illic or whatever, is going to be taking on this remake. And I also have a feeling that with them taking over the game, because they worked on Home, that all of those Pokemon are going to be able to go into Home. And that makes me
ask the
question of... what kind of compatibility are we going to see? Are we going to be able to transfer these Pokemon into Sword and Shield now? Or is Sword and Shield kind of like, throw it behind your shoulder, we're done with it now that these games are out? So I'm kind of curious what the Sword and Shield universe will end up looking like.
I would guess that Sword and Shield doesn't get any more updates for this kind of stuff, because you can already put all of the Pokemon into Pokemon Home. So,
yeah.
I don't expect to see much more happen with Sword and Shield. But it would be a nice surprise, and I'd be excited to see it, but I just wouldn't expect it.
That could have been their answer the entire time. Like, they could have been planning this for a while and just said, well, we didn't want to give you the national decks because we wanted you to buy this game so you could get the Pokemon in Sword and Shield, and it would unlock this section of the Pokedex when you buy the DLC, and it would unlock this part of the Pokedex when you buy the Sinnoh remake. It would definitely feel like a not pay to win, but like pay to unlock. Yeah, paywall. So I'm interested to see what happens with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting that you mentioned that too, because a lot of the Pokemon that didn't return in Sword and Shield happened to be Sinnoh. So I mean, it's like they were very much anticipating a Sinnoh re-release or remake, but
yeah,
I don't know. So I mean, overall, that's kind of my thoughts on 25th anniversary stuff. I think Snap's going to be amazing, and I'm excited to see Pokemon Snap and play that once it comes out in April.
Yep,
but
absolutely.
Go ahead.
The thing I don't understand is in their 25th anniversary video montage of everything they've accomplished, they covered all sorts of games, and like I said, they covered cards. We don't have a 25th anniversary Pokemon set. We have the starter oversized cards, but we don't have like a evolutions or a generations. We don't have a set like that where we're looking back on our 25 years of Pokemon and here's that set to commemorate that. I was really hoping they would cover something like that to give us some news after, maybe after Battle Styles comes out, you have this set, Or, I mean, even if they would have showed us like Japanese cards, Japanese versions of those cards saying this is going to be coming out in Japan and this date, expected to be in English in this date, like, I would have been stoked just to know we're getting a set like that. But now we don't have any news like that. We just know Battle Styles is coming out, and then there's a new set in Japan that's coming out that we don't necessarily have all too many cards revealed from. So it's like, for them to cover in their 25th anniversary montage to show trading cards and not have any trading card representation felt really strange.
Oh, but they're all the McDonald's cards, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I would want a
I
set.
see what you're saying. Yeah,
You know?
it is kind of interesting. Like, for their big year, they're not really doing
I mean, for the
as much as I
20th,
expected. Yeah.
for the 20th, they literally did Generations.
Yeah, totally.
And it was a special set that had products that were marketed with the logo. They had the pin
And they did it all year long.
out. Yeah.
It was like one a month. Yeah, I remember.
It was an exciting event for Pokemon. Like, every month I was waiting to get my hands on the pin collection that had 3 packs and a promo and a pin. I was excited. I was hunting that. And for them to not reveal anything of that sort, it was disappointing.
They're also probably like struggling with all the scalping and stuff right now, though, too. So
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they've
Scalpers
got a
are
lot to
making-
worry about, and if they wanted to do something fun like that, it would be very difficult because everybody would just get upset because they can't actually have the new set because scalpers, you know?
That's fair, but then also think about it from the standpoint that the Pokemon has made statements as to they know that the market's hard right now to get your hands on Pokemon, so they're printing more. They're doing reprints of Vivid Voltage. They're doing reprints of Cosmic Eclipse, other sets that were hot, and then they said any future releases are going to have adequate supply. So it just feels strange.
I'm just saying, I feel like they're playing catch up. That said, yeah, I think what they decided to do for the 25th was just the jumbo cards of the starters. So,
Which, cool,
kinda
I guess, but it is unfortunate.
I don't really care for the jumbo cards. So, never been a huge fan of those.
But that's pretty much all that I have from this Pokemon Presents. It was overwhelmingly. It was a positive.
It was aggressively
direct.
average.
Aggressively average is a great way to put it. I'm happy for the Sinnoh remakes. I'm just disappointed with execution.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Snap's going to be the best game from Pokemon this year, and that's kind of sad to me. But
hashtag Pokemon Snap 25th anniversary.
Exactly. So, Snap. The other thing is that's kind of interesting that they didn't even bring up Pokemon Unite, which I thought was supposed to launch soon, but they're just like, well, I guess we forgot about that game. We didn't want to tell anybody about that. So
all we've been getting is skins leaked. That's like the only news that we're getting. We're not getting any official Pokemon news from Unite, really.
So
that's crazy. And that was one of their games that they were hyping last year.
I mean, that was like, they had an entire direct for it.
Yeah. They're like, we have another. That's when we thought we were getting Let's Go Johto.
I know. This would have been great. Let's Go Johto would have been perfect.
Pokemon Unite. Man, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
What are you doing?
Wow. I'm curious to see what's going on at Pokemon headquarters, Game Freak headquarters, and see what really they have planned or what their marketing team's telling them to do. But overall, you know, I'm pleased. I'm pleased with the Sinnoh remakes and Pokemon Snap. I'm just artwork. It felt lackluster in the execution.
Yep. I'm honestly fairly disappointed with it, but it's just that art style, man. And like, I don't know. I've already aired my grievances. I'm not stoked about it, but it will be nice getting to go back to Sinnoh, as I haven't touched that game in like 15 years. So,
yeah. So overall, Pokemon, thank you for the remakes. We're excited to play them, but let's just keep positive, look forward towards the future, and hopefully we get some cool new news.
Hopefully. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to have a great day and check out some of our other videos when you're not busy. So,
Absolutely.
thanks for watching, guys.